Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a Fog of War puzzle here. This one is by Sir Moose. It's been quite a while since I think I've done a Sir Moose puzzle, so I was glad to see that name pop up. Because I know they've done good puzzles in the past. So this one is called Entropic Fog by Sir Moose, so we're going to have some entropy to go with our fog. So anyway, with that said, let's jump into the rules and see what's going on and see if we can figure this thing out. So it's normal Sudoku, so every row, column, and 3x3 box are going to contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. Then we have entropy rows. So every 3 consecutive cells along each row must contain a low digit 1, 2, 3, middle digit 4, 5, 6, and high digit 7, 8, 9. So every single row is going to be entropic, which means that whatever this digit is, whether it be low, medium, or high, it will be followed by the other 2 sections. And then that pattern will continue as it goes. Cool. Then we've got digits along an arrow, sum to the number in that arrow's circle. We don't see any arrows currently, but let's just say there's a circle here and an arrow pointing up. These 3 digits would then add up to what the circle is. We've got Kropki Pairs, so cells separated by a white dot contain consecutive digits. We have a couple of those, so these are consecutives. We have cells separated by a black dot contain digits that are in a 1 to 2 ratio. I don't know why I always want to say 2 to 1 ratio, not 1 to 2. That's just my way my brain seems to go at it. But anyway, let's pretend this was a black dot. These would be in a 2 to 1 ratio, so one of them would be double the other. Then we have most of the grid is covered in fog. Placing correct digits will clear surrounding fog. No guessing is required. So this appears to be standard fog. So if we were to figure out what this digit is, all of this would clear, and then hopefully we'd have some more clues to help us out with the rest of the solve. So with that said, link's going to be in the description below. Let's get a crack at this one and see if we can get it figured out. So let's go up to entropy here, leave that there, and start thinking about how our entropic rows are going to help us here. Because the only thing we have currently are these 2 bits of freed space. So we're going to know that these 2 groupings are going to span between 2 entropic sets. So we're not going to be able to put like a 1 on here, because then it would be a 1, 2, and that would break the puzzle. So they're going to have to be the digits that are on the edges of our groups. So 3, 4, 6, and 7 will be the possibilities. Now, I guess what that also means is that one of these will be 3, 4. The other one will be 6, 7. Now, the question is, how are we going to figure out how to break those up? Now, I mean, we could go in here and say, well, these have to be 1, 2, 5, 8, and 9, but that's not going to do us much good either. There must be some trick to the entropy in how it's going to affect other things. Let's think about, let's think about how these guys work together in the row. So we have to think of this as being like it was, what is the entropic color? Is it like a, I can't remember right now. Is it like a bluish kind of, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's not blue, but that's because that's region sum. But anyway, entropic line. So this is essentially an entropic line. So this digit, this digit, this digit will all be from the same groupings, because we have to repeat them every third, because we have to keep the pattern going. So what that tells us is that this, and this must be the same. So therefore, these 2 have to be within the same entropic set. So they must be the 4, 6 pair. And then these guys will have to be, I'll get rid of this line, it's just demonstration purposes there. These must be the 3, 7. So let's start thinking about what the other groupings here would be, because these have to be either paired with 3 or 7. They're going to be 1, 2, 8, or 9. I don't know if that's super helpful. Let's put them in just to I might end up coloring these in a second. These are all the same. Okay, that's the one we needed. Duh. A little slow still. I'll get back to normal at some point. I don't know when that's going to occur, but we're getting there. This has to be the same grouping as the 4, 6, therefore it must be a 5. Now let's get rid of all this junk. We don't really need it at the moment. Although, we could have kept that, because we can say this is not a 9, this is not a 1. Well, no, we can't say that isn't a 1, and we can say this is not a 9, because of the fact that this is sitting on an arrow, and because the only way the arrow could have the same values if they were catty corner like this one is, but because this one isn't, we can't put a 9 here and a 9 here. So anyway, let's think on, these are the other 1, 2, 8s and 9s. I'm going to put those in, and then we can remove this. Now again, we can say it's not a 1 because this can't be a 1, 1 pair, but we can't say it's not a 2 because it could have a 1, 1 like this. And it does appear that this, well, yeah, this arrow is going to have to turn in some direction. We just don't know where yet. So probably best to maybe look at the Kropki and see what comes of that. Maybe I am going to color these for a moment here. I'll leave these white because they are the same, just so that we have that information there. Now, is there a correlation between these groupings where we could rule out some possibilities here as well? Because we start thinking, well, if this is a 3, these would be a 1 and a 2. I don't know if that really does much, does it? I'm going to think about that for a second, because I don't think this guy's going to do too much for us at the moment either. Well, maybe it does. Okay, sorry, I'm a little scattered. Jumping back and forth between, I'm thinking of things that are appearing to me like this will never be a 1, 2, because we know these have to be different groupings of entropy, so they're either they're one's low, one is high. We don't know which one specifically, but these can't obviously be a 1, 2 pair because it'd force both of these to be highs. Now, that doesn't rule out 2, 4, or 6, or 2, 4, 8, 3, or 6, though, so that's not doing a massive amount there for us. Let's go back maybe to what I was trying to think of here in terms of how will the entropy work with the arrows and their circles, and if there's any conflict between these two. Because again, if this is a 3, these are a 1, 2 pair, which forces these guys to be 8s or 9s. This being a 1 or a 2 could very easily go with anything that this arrow may do once it turns. But we cannot make this an 8. Okay, there we go. I finally got the head to work here. Because if this is an 8, this is going to have to again be it's going to have to be a 9, because it would have to be 8 plus something to get to 9, but then we know these are different entropies, so it cannot be that. So this is not the 8. So this is the low entropy, which means this is 3, this is 7, this is no longer 2, this is not 1, 2, this is not 8 or 9. So that's interesting. We've pushed the low digit onto here, which means this is going to be, well, again, we can't quite say that, because it's possible that this arrow comes up here and then turns here. So this could be a 2 with a 1, 1 arrow grouping. Okay. See little things. This 3, though, says this is 4, and the 7 and look, there we go. The 7 says this is 6. So we do have what I thought could be possible is what is going to have to occur, because these now have to be double ones to make this add up to 2. That pushes the 1 here, which means this has to be either 7 or 8. Now we're going to get into more rows of entropy here. Let's continue doing some coloring, because then we can start to break into these other rows. So if that's low, this is low, and so is this. So these are the 2 3s. If this is high, this and this are high. So these are the 7s, 8s, and 9s. And then these are our mids. So 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, this can't be 6. This can't be 5. This can't be 4. Now, I guess we'll continue the color process. We'll just leave our mids colorless, just because for some reason that's what I feel like doing. This can't have a 2 on it, so we're starting to reduce this a little bit. Wondering if we need to... Yeah, no, we can't really do anything here, can you? Because this could be any of the 3 options. What about you? Does it just have to be 1, 2? Yeah, because it can't be 3, 6, and it can't be 4, 8, or 2, 4, so it must be 1, 2. Okay. Now, these are both going to be low digits. If these are low, that means this and this are also low. So 1, 2, 3. This obviously can't be 2. This can't be 1. These will also be low. So we're going to get pairs here looking. Whether or not that gets us anywhere specifically, well, it does, because it's a 1, 3 now. It says this can't be a 3, 6, so it is a 4, 8 pair. Therefore, this is not 8. What else? None of these are looking up just yet into any of these other digits that we can start doing something with, but let's look at this guy, because we know it's not 1, 2, 2, 4, or 3, 6. It is 4, 8 as well. That forces this to be 5, 9, and this can't be 9, so it's 5, and this is 9, therefore this is 4. Good. Of course, those didn't cross over here, but we are going to be able to put another 5, because we can think about the rows. Where can a 5 go? Well, we can start placing digits in areas, I guess is the better way to put it, or we can just think about the entropy. It's probably the easier way, because this has to be a mid digit here. So these are the mids, which we are leaving open. So this is 4, 8, and this is 8 and 4. The highs we can color as the greens, and we can say this is high, this and this are high. Good. And do we have... Okay, again, I was looking to see if we had any obvious digits. This is a mid digit, and it can't be 4 or 5, so it must be 6. This then has to be the 5, because it's the only one left over. This one here has to be the 6, because it's the only one left over in the entropy. Good. This is... Okay, this 8 says this is 9, so we can put an 8 here. This is then an 8. It's going to say, we know what one of these other digits is, right? This one here has to be a 7, because it has to be high, and it can't be 8 or 9. This is just a given of, what, 9. This has to then be 7. Good. Did, again, any of these looking up into here yet? Interestingly, not really. So we're going to have to continue with our entropy, it seems. We can look at this 1 and this 4, because they're sticking out into new rows. So this guy and this guy are going to be low. 2 and 3. This guy and this guy are going to be mid, so they are 5 and 6. Okay, we can do that because the 5 sees that. This is 6 and 5. Good. Did we have a... We did have a 2, 3 that looks up here. Sorry, this is 2 and 3. That's clearing out a bunch more stuff. That 3 says this is 2, 3. We have that 1 there already. Good, good, good. The 8 here is saying this is 9 and 7. 4, 5, 6, not quite yet. Okay, so what about you? Because we have you in the open. So this is either going to be a 1 or a 3, which means this is either going to be a 3 or a 5, and it can't be a 5, so it must be a 3. That there's going to say this is then 3. 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. Good. Now we know this is the low digit, so this one and this one are also low. And this one will have to be a 1. This one will have to be a 2. Now these are all high digits, 7s, 8s, and 9s. I think we can rule out 9 and 8 here. No, we can't. We can rule out the 9. We can't rule out the 8. Well, no, we can rule out the 8. Because if this was an 8, this would have to be a 1, and this would have to be a 9. But we have a 9 here. Excuse me. This is 7. These are not 7s. Now, again, we can use the same concept. This can't be a 2, because I would push a 9 here. So this has to be a 7, 1 with an 8. And let's color some more. Let's put our coloring in there. This is high as well. So we can start to look at these 2 digits now on our entropy. These must be low. That forces this to be 3 and 2 because of that. And these must be high. That's going to force this one to be 7, this one to be 9. Good. Let's put those in. Now we can probably start looking up, and then that'll push us into the horizontal version, because we're going to know what some of these digits must be, or we're going to have options, I should say. So we have 1 and 6. Yes. What is this? 2 and 5. That'll do it right there, but let's just do this one real quick first, just to put it out there. 3 and 4. We can actually do a couple of them. So this is a 2, 5. This obviously can't be a 5. So 2, 5. That 3, we'll say this is 4 and 3. And let's color. And this will now be a low digit, so it must be a 1. And that will push this to be the 6, which is mid. Still haven't broken these guys. That's kind of interesting, but whatever. This 9 says this is 8 and 9. Now, which way do we want to go? These are going to be the high digits. So they are 7, 8, and 9. This is not 8. This is not 7. This is not 9. And what else does that say for us? The 2 here says this must be a 4, because it can't be a 1. 4 is mid, which means these are mid. So this one is 5, this is 6. That finally breaks these up. 4, 6, 5. Those are all mid, so they're going to stay white. These are high, so look greenified. 7, 8s, and 9s. This can't be 8 or 9, so it is 7, 9, 8, 7, 9, and 8. Good. Now we can go down this way and start doing the same thing we just did with get her some options, and I'm sure we can break those up. So these must be from 4 and 5. What are these guys? 3 and 8. There we go. That one's going to do it. That'll push 3 and 8, and the 3 will give us our 4 and our 5. Now let's do our coloring. These are all low. These are going to be all high. Now, this has to be a 1, this has to be a 2, this has to be a 7, this has to be a 9. Good. Now we should be able to just finalize these last couple of guys. What do we have? 4 and 6, it appears. So we're going to know this is 6 and 4. Now, if these are all mids, so we don't have to do any more coloring. Cool, it worked out perfectly. This forces this to be 6 and 5. There we go. So you solved the puzzle. Solution is correct. 20 minutes, almost 3,000 solves. That's quite a few in under 20 days. So excellent puzzle. Really enjoyed that. I like the use of the entropic in a row without actually putting in any type of line work, just making the row do its work. Now, I was going to see if there was any striping or anything here, but it doesn't appear that there is. Thought that might be something that would occur because of the nature of this puzzle, but again, does not appear to be so. So anyway, lovely puzzle, really enjoyed it. Kind of interesting things that did occur on some of these was just postulating that we can't remove the possibility of this being a 2 because this could be a 1-1, and then a couple seconds later we find out that becomes the case. So anyway, really love that puzzle, and I hope you all did as well. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, keep this channel growing. We're starting to get up there a little bit now, so it's kind of nice to see this thing turn into something a little more than maybe just a hobby at this point, I guess. So everybody out there who is liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that stuff, I appreciate it very much. It really is keeping the channel going. So thank you all again, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.